Good day, everyone. So today I'm going to discuss together with my group mates our assigned topic, which is the Chapter 8, El Filibusterismo, of the subject Life and Works of Rizal. So first, so so the El Filis description. On October 1887, in Calamba, Laguna, Rizal began writing El Filibusterismo, and in 1888, he revised the plot and some chapters in London. Rizal continued to work on his manuscript in Paris. Then, he moved to Brussels, Belgium, where the cost was cheaper and there were less distractions, so he could focus on finishing the book. He finally completed the book on March 29, 1891 in Beatrice, France, and was published in September of that year in Ghent. So, nagsugod si Rizal og suwat sa Elfie nga novel dito sa Calamba, Laguna pag October 1887. Then, pag 1888, ijahan ang gi-revise ang plot og ang chapter pag ato na ni Jeg London. Then, ijahang gi-continue or gipadayon ang paghimo sa manuscript sa Elfile adtoan na sa Paris. Then paghuman ning move na sad siya sa Brussels, Belgium, kay didto is ang cost of kanang living kay cheaper than gamay ra sad ang distraction. So mas makafocus siya og human sa libro or sa novel. Then ijang gi-kompleto na or nahuman na niya mismo ang kining novel adtoan na sa Beatrice, France pag March 29, 1891. Then ningbalik na pod siya sa Belgium, which is mo na ang Ghent, part na siya sa Belgium, ug dadto na niya gipublish ang kining El Filibusterismo nga novel pag September 1891. Then, the novel is said to have been written against the background of threats and oppression that Rizal and his family suffered because of the Noli and the so-called Calamba Agrarian trouble. So, we all know naman or nanatay morag prior knowledge nga ang kining El File is morag continuation na siya sa novel nga Noli Me Tangere. So, the same as Noli Me Tangere, dire pod morag gi-entail ni Rizal about sa mga kanang threats o kaning mga oppression nga ilang nadawat or kanang mga suffering nila gumikan sa katong paghimo niya sa kaning noli nga novel and the so-called Calamba Agrarian trouble. So kanang mind you or for your information, if you're not familiar with Calamba Agrarian trouble, so mo na siya ang katong So, mo na siya ang kining giplano nga mahimong Filipino settlement in Borneo by Jose Rizal Rasad. So, sa Spanish, gitawag niya siya og Nueva Calamba or kaning New Calamba. Then Rizal envisioned the settlement after residents in his native Calamba, Laguna were left homeless after the resolution of a land dispute in favor of Dominican friars. So gisugod og kanang envision ni Rizal tungod atong mga ka-residente ra pod niya sa Calamba nga nahimo na po walay Pinoy-anan tungod sa kanang resolution nga or kaning gihimong kanang dispute gumikan sa kining mga pare rasad, mga Dominican friars. Then the dispute originated from a directive of Governor General Emilio Terrero y Perenat ordering for the investigation of estates owned by Dominican friars as an effort to resolve agrarian issues and problems in collection of land taxes and tenancy upon the request of Jose Rizal. So, mo na siya. So, another description of the El Filibusterismo. Then, Jose Rizal roommate Jose Alejandrino helped with the printing press for El File. Rizal provided Alejandrino with the corrected proofs and pen used in the corrections, which were lost or destroyed during the Philippine Revolution. Valentin Ventura, Rizal's friend, partially financed the publication. Rizal initially financed the printing by placing his properties as collateral, but faced financial difficulties and had to shorten the novel to 38 chapters. To Ventura, Rizal gave him the original manuscript, which was later bought by the Philippine government for 10,000 pesos in 1925. The manuscript is now kept in National Library. So, tungkuan nga, si Rizal gitabangan ni kaning ijang ka-roommate nga si Jose Alejandrino sa pagprint sa El File. Then ijahang murag gisaligan ni Rizal si Alejandrino sa kining correct kanang pag-correct sa mga kaning I mean mga correction. Then kaning si Valentin Ventura nga amigo sad ni Rizal is mo initabang ni Rizal og finance sa pag-publication aning El File kay murag nagkamulis murag wa poy as in kwarta si Rizal para igasto. So moto murag nahimong collateral ni Rizal ag uban niyang mga properties or kaning mga butang niya kay para murag bali utang siguro niya aron lang ma-publish ang El File. So kay murag lakman siya or kaning gamay ra sa financial motong kining gipagamay imbes murag taas pa siguro ning El File gipagamyan na lang niya. So nahimo na lang 38 chapters. Then moto gibaligya ra sad ni so si Rizal da ijang gihatag ang original nga manuscript ni atong Ventura anja palit ra sad sa Philippine government kanang with the value of kaning 10,000 pesos pag 1925. So imagine karon pa siguro gihimo ni Rizal ang kining katong El File pila ka 10,000 na gito sa una 1925. So nakuha na how much more og karon nga time to gihimo dya gipalit sa Philippine government. So arang mahala na siguro. Then the manuscript is now kept in National Library. So ang original nga manuscript na adjud sa gikip sa National Library. Okay, next, filibustero defined. Rizal had to define the word filibuster to his German friend Ferdinand Blumentritt, who did not understand his use of word in Noli Me Tangere. In a letter, Rizal explained, the term filibuster was first used in the Philippines in 1872, during the tragic executions of Gomburza. The term was used to describe a dangerous patriot or presumptuous man, and by the end of the 19th century, it had become synonymous with subversion in the Philippines. The novel's title, Filibusterismo, is derived from the simpler term filibustero, which means subversive, dissident, revolutionary, seditious, insurrectionary, and treasonous. Rizal dedicated the book to the memory of the Gomburza, 3 Filipino patriotic priests accused of being filibustero and executed. However, Rizal made mistakes in indicating the ages of the priests and the date of their execution. The book was initially distributed to his friends in Europe, but was seized by the authorities upon shipment to the Philippines. So, ang filibuster kay gigamit siya una sa Philippines pag 1872 during sa pagkatong execute sa tulo ka pare katong Gomburza. We all know naman siguro tanan ug unsa tong Gomburza katong tulo ka pare. Then kanang the novel's title Filibusterismo is the simpler term filibustero. So ag meaning kaning nakabutang bitaw diri sa kaning meaning sa filibustero is kanang lisod jud siya ug imo ra bitong basahon lawom kaadyo English subversive, dissident, revolutionary. So siya gi-research kay aron mas masabtan. So kaning subversive, so katong filibustero which means subversive. So with subversive Tagalog supersibo or mapangwasak. The next dissident is disagreeing religious or political system. Then revolutionary, pag-aalsa ng himagsikan. Then, seditious, an action of rebellion. The next, insurrectionary, or himagsikan gihapon. Then, treasonous, meaning betrayal or pagtataksil. So, mo na siya meaning og filibusterismo. Then, mato, ang kining gihimo pod ni Ja is kaning novel is dedicated as well sa kadtong tulo ka pare nga gi-execute kay tungod kanang nanoon pod kuno ni sila nga nahimong filibustero or katong okay ba na tag-on sa meaning din natatag sa tagsaon pagbalik. Then next we have the El Fili in brief. El Filibusterismo is a story about affluent jeweler Simeon, who is actually Crisostomo Ibarra of Danoli. He escapes to Cuba and becomes influential in the Philippines, but his main plan is to take revenge against Spanish officials and rescue Maria Clara from a convent. Simeon smugglers arms and recruits followers, including Basilio, a son of Sisa. He also forms an alliance with the Kabisang Tales revolutionary group. However, the planned revolt is not carried out due to Maria Clara's death. Simon plans to stage an explosion at a wedding reception, using a kerosene lamp to signal the revolution. Isagani, the rejected lover of Paulita, saves her life by throwing the lamp into the river. Simon's plot is known and he is hunted by law enforcers. Then he escapes but is seriously wounded. He finds shelter in Padre Florentino's home, but the lieutenant of the Guardia Civil plans to arrest him. Simon then takes poison to avoid being caught alive and confesses his revenge plan to Florentino. The priest absolves him of his sins, stating that God will forgive him. The story ends with the priest throwing Simon's treasures into the sea to prevent greed and hope they will be recovered and used for good. So, it's already understandable naman siguro ang kaning summary sa El Fili. So, gusto pa jud mo kanang murag ma-deepen bitaw inyong kanang knowledge or kanang mas dagan pa may makatunan about sa El Fili, not just the summary or uban pang part. You can search it sa YouTube or sa Google, dagan sa YouTube mga videos. So, mangita ra po ko dito i-appel og kaning send sa kaning among report. Bali, iuban na po sa among report. So, nato nindot kaayo ang kining El Fili nga novel kay kuan mura siya ginahimo bitaw untang kanang kuan ni Ibarra or kaning di ba si Simeon na may tawag sa El Fili. So Simeon is katos Crisostomo Ibarra sa No Limitang Here. So murag monta na murag kuan nga mo revenge na siya sa mga friars, but wa ra gihapon ag ending namatay siya. Diba sa Nole giingon nga namatay haka sa El Fili namatay pas Maria Clara, namatay pa jud si Crisostomo. So kanang tragic ilang love story ng duha. So
good morning everyone, my name is Alia Ela Peligro and today I'm going to report about the premises of El Fili. El Filibusterismo is a continuation of No Limitang Here, exposing the real picture of Filipino society under Spanish government officials. So meaning ang El Filibusterismo kono mo siya ang continuation sa novel nga No Limitang Here. The report ginapakita ang tinuod nga kiniyahan isip usa ka Pilipino sa panahon sa Spanish. Then na-implement sa dinhi ang mga pag-abuse, ang abuse sa mga Spanish, ang ilang pagpakarong ingnon, ang ilang corruption sa educational system. In short, ang ilang grabe nga pagka-abuse sa ato ang mga Pilipino sa panahon nila. El Fili differs from Noli in offering various means for social reform. So ang elfily nag-differ siya sa noli tanghire, which is to uspo nila ang pamaagi sa kanang kanang pakipag pakipag peaceful, with the main characters persistent suggesting independence through revolution. However, the index suggests freedom. So kani is gusto nila ang ilang gusto nga suggestion for freedom is must be kanang in a peaceful way, or in a sakto nga pamaagi, dili tong gitawag nila nga makigira, dili sila gusto nga napay daghang mga tao nga madamay. And while si Rizal nga na-promote siya og peaceful, or na-promote si Rizal og kanang pamaagi nga kanang pamaagi nga peace sa Rizal while promoting peaceful reforms, so meaning while si Rizal na-promote siya og maayong pamaagi, nag-advocate po siya og armed revolution under certain condition. He would never subscribe to the useless spilling of blood, but not the uprising as such. So kingon ni Rizal nga dili siya ganahan nga mag-usik-usik og dugo para lang makuha tong gitawag nga freedom. The semblance of Noli and Fili is El Fili and novel are novels that expose the ills of Spanish authorities in the Philippines. So ang El Fili ug ang Noli Matangere mao ni siya ang grabe exposure sa mga kasakit, sa mga pag-abusar sa mga taga-Spaniard diri sa Pilipinas. El Fili is mao ni siya ang more serious, less numerous, and better depicting the suffering of native Filipino from the cruelty and exploitation of colonizers. It reflects kani siya is dako ang ihang reflection ni Rizal. The more siya nga nahimong, or the more siya na matured o na less ang iyahang hopeful attitude towards the social political situation in the country. The novel's both outlook and tragic mood can be attributed to the persecution and suffering experienced by Rizal and his family from Spanish friars and officials. Some friends and Rizal himself believe in the superiority of El Fili. So nayuban mga friends ni Rizal nga ningtuo sa iyahang superiority sa El Fili. After the publication of El Fili, Rizal appeared to have a change of heart, stating that he considered his novel about a failed revolution organized by Simon, who used his wealth and influence to encourage corruption in the government. Rizal, through Simon, believed that independence would alleviate Filipino suffering under colonizers. He argued that Filipinos should develop an independent mentality and prioritize the common good over personal gain. Rizal's message was clear. Filipinos should be courageous, willing to protest and proclaim their rights, and sacrifice in the face of oppressions. So, matod pa ni Rizal sa iyang mensahe, kinahanglan ko no, ang Pilipino is kanang courageous, willing to protest o willing pod nga mo proclaim sa ilahang right, and sacrifice in the face of oppression. However, he was reluctant revolutionary, believing that Filipinos were not yet ready for independence. So matod pa ni Rizal, ang mga Pilipino kuno dili pa ready nga mubarog sa ilang kaugalingon nga tiil. Pero si Rizal mingtuo nga ang Ginoo mo provide sa ilaha, or ningtuo si Rizal nga ang Ginoo ang isa sa motabang nila para makatukod, or para makabarog sila silang kaugalingan nga tiil. But they needed education, exploratory lives, and the willingness to sacrifice for others. Then giingon pa ni Rizal nga kinahanglan pa kuno, or need sa mga Pilipino ang panag-eskwela o willingness sa pagsakripisyo sa tanang mga butang. Kay kung without sacrifice, dili maabot or dili nila makamtam ang ilang ginatawag nga freedom. Kung dili sila mobarog sa ilahang kaugaling hotel, dili nila maabot ang ilang gi, gi, gitam gipangandoy nga freedom. Kay sa panahon sa una, grabe abusar sa taga Spaniard sa ato. So karon nga panahon is kanang ang mga Pinoy is naningkamot nga makaeskwela para dili na ta mabusar sa ubang nga mga sa uban pang mga kanang lugar or sa uban pang mga tao sama sa Spaniard. And that will be all. Thank you.
Characters and imageries of El Filibusterismo. First is Simon. Crisostomo Ibarra, disguised as a wealthy jewelry Simon, returns to Filipino society after being presumed dead. Despite his crude and confrontational manners, he secretly plans a violent revolution to avenge his past misfortune and hasten Elias' reformist goals. His past failure and disappointment have led him to become cynical and revolutionary. Next is Basilio, the son of Sisa and another character from Noli Me Tangere. He is a successful physician currently pursuing his degree at the university in El Pile. After his mother's death, he worked as a servant in Captain Tiago's household and later managed his estate. He is a quite competitive man, aware of his duties and his sweetheart Julie. Despite his past experience, he remained hostile to revolution. Next is Isagani. Isagani, a poet and a friend of Basilio, is finishing his study at Ateneo Municipal. He is a member of the Student Association and is proud and naive. His idealism clashes with his girlfriend Paulita Gomez. Isagani unrestrained idealism symbolized educated Filipino youth at the time, who unconsciously forget their ideal for selfish reason. He is arrested after their association is outlawed, leaving Paulita for Juanito Pilaes. Next is Kapitan Tiago, a character in Noli owned landholdings in Pampanga, Binondo, and Laguna. He fell into depression after Maria Clara's convent entry and began smoking opium. Tiago hired Basilio as an kapista but died of shock upon his arrest. Next is Don Custodio. Custodio de Salazar Sanchez de Monterredondo, a renowned contractor in Rizal Nabel, is portrayed as an opportunist who married into high society, regularly criticizing favored ideas and ultimately incompetent. He is an average, unqualified Spanish official who finds of inferiority among the people. Next is Maria Clara. Symbolically speaking, she represents the dominated Filipino culture, which at that time is ripe up for revolution. After suffering from untold physical and spiritual abuse for at least 13 years, Maria Clara dies. Hence, there are no eventual union between Simon and Maria Clara, not even meeting together since they parted 13 years ago, because Simon was not permitted to do so. Next is Kabisang Talis. Talisporo Juan de Jesus, a former sugarcane planter in Tiane, lost his wife and daughter in clearing lands. When the Dominicans took over his farm, he fought for it and was kidnapped by bandits. His daughter Julie was forced to become a maid in exchange for ransom. After losing the case, he joined the bandits and became a first commander. Hence, father later joined the band. Next is Julie, Juliana de Jesus, girlfriend of Basilio and Kabisang Tales' daughter, was captured by bandits and ransomed by Basilio. She works as he worked as pinchang maid and was sent to jail instead of submitting to Camorra. She jumped to her death. Lastly, Placido Penitente, another young student who decided to go abroad for a better life upon learning about Simon Plan revolt. He got so scared and that he was undecidedly whether to join or not. He is that part of Philippine society who does not have sense of nationalism or social convenience.
Okay, last, Rizal after Fili. After the publication of El Filibusterismo, Rizal gave up upon the idea that peaceful liberation is possible for the Philippines. In his letter to Blumentritt in 1887, he wrote, "Peaceful struggle will just remain a dream, considering that Spain had not learned the lesson of her former colonies in South America." Rizal then became a separatist upon realizing that reforms will no longer be granted by Spain. Unlike other separatists, Rizal is exemptional as he learned to leave the attainment of independence to God. Subsequently, Rizal was bitterly attacked by his fellow reformers in Madrid. This can be accounted for by the very radical and revolutionary tone of the novel, which renounced the propaganda campaign for peaceful reforms and assimilation. As a result, Rizal decided to end his connection with the propagandist in Madrid and opted to return to the Philippines to share the misfortune of his family. So, that would be all. Thank you.